your eye like a big pizza.
This is different.
Will die. And if you don't have an abortion, you will die.
Those boys who are wearing their hair long are saying no to the mask industry.
The entirety of women's voting inside of the United States has been a complete unmitigated disaster. Unmitigated disaster which has led us to progressive policies, societal decay, a society which cannot reproduce itself, literally, can't even reproduce itself.
If it would be possible to make the men less aggressive, less competitive, less sure of themselves, that would be certainly something good. And
Jesus stood up here before us this afternoon and said, listen, I got two questions for you. Question number one, who do people say that I am? We'd have to tell him.
We'd have to tell him. We'd have to tell him, you know, Jesus, most people just want to reduce you to a nice guy.
Alright, New Blood, welcome to the Pink Hatter live stream. Poor abortion ain't there for any reason. Do you disagree?
Just to clarify, for my age, I'm 25, November 1998. It's my birth month. I'm just doing it for the sake of terms of service. I'm an abortion abolitionist.
Appreciate it. Okay, cool. So why are you an abortion abolitionist? What's your reason for being an abortion abolitionist?
I think it's the unjust deletion of a child and of a image bearer of God. And yeah, that's why.
Okay. So you think these things, I know you think these things, that's fair. Do you have evidence that these things are actually veritable?
So from the purview of it being a human life, yeah, it's the fact that life starts at fertilization.
Okay, cool. So that's a veritable fact. What about the other things you said? Can you verify those as facts? Or can you verify the elements of what you said as fact?
So I can point to evidence. I will say that this can turn into which I'm willing to do, but this can turn into a God debate real quick, because
but it won't. Trust me, it won't. I won't let it. So it's okay. We're talking about abortion. So abortion during pregnancy, it has a 10-month scope. So anything that it cannot be verified within the scope of that, so questions around what could be, questions around what is but cannot be verified, will have no bearing on the conversation. So pro-abortion ain't for any reason. Can you give me a reason why someone who has a baby or a fetus inside of them should be denied the right to waive, null, or transfer the access of that fetus to that womb?
So I mean, if it involves, I'll put it to you this way: if it involves the deletion of the child. As in, like, I'm trying not to say the K word because, again, terms, but...
Yeah, well, you can say unaliving.
Unalive, yeah. If it ends with unaliving the child, then I have an issue with it. I don't really have a strong stance on early inducement and, and C-sections, obviously. I don't have any stance on that, really. I will say inducement, if it's going to harm the child, then I would wait till natural birth. But, yeah, I mean, that's...
Okay. Yeah. Why should someone wait, though? I don't understand why I need to wait. Like, what is so special about this situation I need to wait? I mean, if someone has a womb, they have first order rights over what they do with their body. They have integrity around their body. They have mastery of their body. No one has more control naturally of their body than them. No one has more control of my body to do this than me. I have mastery of my body. I don't understand why something inside of me should be able to dictate what I do with my mastery, integrity, and my autonomy.
Well, because if you did anything to that body inside of you, you'd be violating your own principle of bodily integrity. Because that thing cannot...
I don't understand.
Because the thing inside of you, the child, can't consent to being put there. It just ends up there ontologically. Due to fertilization.
Ontologically, so nature of being.
Yeah.
Sure. So is nature of being is there because of something outside of its own will? Or something outside of a will, that's it, because it doesn't have a will. By that logic, though, we'd have to conclude that it's there or not there by the same lack of its own will, correct?
Yeah, like it has no control. I'll say that more clearly.
Yeah. There we go. So a moot point we have just presented. A moot point has been presented. We could easily claim one side of that, which can be convenient for me. I can claim the other side, convenient for you. Whatever it might be, it does not actually have bearing. It's a moot point. It is there for a force outside of its own will. Whether it has a will, whether it had a will, whether it will have a will is irrelevant.
Right.
So whether it's not there or there, it's not something it has control over.
Yeah, I agree.
So I fail to see why one situation has more merit than the other.
Because it's a human being. I can't really...
Here we go. We'll get there together. It's a human being.
Yeah.
Many human beings exist, but I wouldn't let you into my womb if I didn't want you there. I wouldn't let you into my house if I didn't want you there. So why does this human being get these special privileges?
Because it quite literally had no other choice. It literally had no other choice. This isn't... let me just give you a hypothetical that I've had presented to me.
We've been through. No hypotheticals.
No, it's just a test of. It's just a test of our logic. So
I don't want it. We've already been here. We talked about this. It had no choice. It has no choice.
Yeah.
Its will is not invoked for it being there or not being there. So whether it's removed, whether it stays, whether it never existed, has nothing to do with what it wanted, what it willed.
Yeah.
That is what we know. So give me something different. Why does this thing have a right to my womb if that right has not been transferred, waived, or annulled by the person who has forced other rights to that womb? Give me a reason, not some hypothetical.
I mean, if I made an appeal to nature, you would just call it a fallacy.
Well, try. It's better than
okay. So I would appeal to the nature of the situation. When a child is put in a woman's womb, that woman ultimately has a responsibility to protect the child, period. Within my worldview.
Wait, okay, period. Wait, period. Stop. Great, period.
Yeah.
In your worldview. Great. Not in my worldview. Who's right?
I would be right.
Why are you right and why am I not right?
Well, because, there's objective morality. And immorality can't be subjective.
I'm gonna stop you. So you're right, and I'm wrong because we know this is a moral opinion. So because your moral opinion is claimed before mine, you're saying that my moral opinion happens to be a moral truth. So then you're going to have to show me it's a moral truth, which I'm not interested in you trying to do that because, again, I've yet to see it done by the world's greatest thinkers. So let's just move on past that. Give me something that I can verify right now that would get, again, for example, we're on TikTok. That's a fact. Okay. Give me a fact that I can verify right now as to why this thing has a right. That is a political question. This is a political question now. This is not a moral question. We're talking about a right. We're not talking about morals, what's right and wrong. We're talking about a right in terms of a privilege. Tell me why this human being that's inside of me has a right to a womb that I have forced other rights to when I have not waived, transferred, or annulled those rights to that fetus.
Because the very fact that that thing that is inside of the womb, like let's say you're the woman and it's inside of your womb, the fact that that thing, and I'm going to go back to this, the fact that it has no choice and it can't willfully invade you, it gives you a responsibility. Because its level of innocence is paramount. That's the thing.
Circle. You were just saying words now. I muted you. We've already established it had no say in being there.
You just rejected it. It becomes a moral question.
Because they don't want to be there. Has equal, or how to say this, has equal weight to me saying, well, it didn't ask to not be there. We know it did not ask to be there. So there is no more, I guess, validity in the sense of it not being there or being there in terms of what it actually willed. We know its will had no place in that. So again, with the circles, we know that it's there against its will. That does not give me a reason to keep it there against its will or to not keep it there against its will.
It does because it's ultimately innocent.
Nothing asked to exist.
It has no choice.
Now, it's a human being. I understand that. But we unalive human beings all the time, and we do so in a way that we see as just. And we also can say that many things have value. Many things have things that we care about. But those are also subjective. So unless you can show me an actual fact around why that thing has value and why it should have value or why I have an obligation to keep it there, I don't see how you're going to be able to anchor this. I will unmute you now.
All right. So the only thing I can really point to is this. If you're okay with this child being deleted in the womb, then you would logically have to track being okay with children outside of the womb being deleted at the behest of whoever the caretaker's emotions are. Yeah. So basically, the reliance on a body for the child to have care from doesn't go away after it's born. Okay, if we were to take a mother and have her, let's say, child gestates, she gives birth at 8-9 months, whatever happens, and she's left in a vacuum to where she can't surrender. Can't resent. Oh, I can't even talk. Surrender responsibility to anyone else.
You take your time.
It wouldn't work because since the mother still has to provide resources, feed it, do whatever she needs to do, then logically you would have to be okay with that child being deleted if the mother feels like it. Okay. It's really what I'm. Sorry, I know it was a word salad because I had trouble speaking, but.
No. I appreciate you. No, I appreciate you taking the time to do that. And I told you to take your time, so take your time. Get some water too, and make sure you're breathing. Because I get anxiety too. So same in womb as in person. I'm going to ask a few questions to clarify here.
Yeah.
So your claim is that this process that is using my body to be able to provide sustenance to this entity, to be able to go through a full gestational process for 10 months within my body, is past parity to an entity outside of my body needing assistance.
Yeah, because it still needs your body for it to survive.
Yeah, okay. Does it need my body or does it need assistance?
So that's why I prefaced with if left in a vacuum. Now, just like if I weren't to leave it in a vacuum.
One second. We're going to stay in the vacuum because I want to really prove a point here. Even though this is not going to happen in a vacuum, because again, this is completely and utterly not going to happen in a vacuum. We live in a society, not a vacuum. So this is not something that we need to worry about, everybody. This does not have actual, we don't take it seriously. But let's pretend we're in a vacuum. Even in the vacuum, there is no the parity is lacking. I can give you that there is a service that is needed in both scenarios. While it is inside of someone with a womb, there is a service that it needs. While it is outside the womb and is dependent on other people, there's services needed. But we are all dependent on other people, so we all need a service. But let's just say that the only thing that I can see that really has a link between those is a need for a service. What I'm having trouble with, whether we're in a vacuum or outside the vacuum, is the obligation to provide that service. That is where you lose me. You need to show me where the obligation lies, and morality just won't cut it unless that person has that morality or shares that moral principle. It just won't cut it. So show me the actual operative, whatever it might be, the physical force, the operative force that is going to make someone act in a certain way or going to enforce a certain penalty if they don't act. Show me that in terms of providing a service in this vacuum or outside of it.
Well, okay, so even if I were to say that the mother can relinquish responsibility, and she's left in the vacuum to where she can't relinquish responsibility, if we're drawing it from legislation or something, if she deletes her child, the civil authority is going to view that as morally wrong. And then also, if I were to take it into my worldview, I view it as God would see it wrong, and she would have just committed a murder. And
okay, there's a lot you're saying there, so I want to make sure we correct this. You're conflating, or you're really intermixing law and morals. I'm going to call that out in point of clarification.
Say to both.
The law is not going to call out it for being immoral. It's going to call it out for being illegal. So any state legislator that has legitimized power is not going to call it out because it's immoral. There are many things that are immoral the law does not speak to, or could be immoral to many people that the law will speak to, but it will speak to what's the law. It's going to speak to that if it's against the law, not if it's immoral based on someone's subjective understanding. Even if it's unethical, it may not still speak to that. So that's the first clarification there that I want to make. Secondly, I want to look at this whole idea of you saying that they have a responsibility. That responsibility is either coming from that law or coming from their own understanding of what they should do and what human characteristics they value. If they don't have that second or first one, what is the obligation? What is the responsibility? It doesn't exist.
So, hold on. I just want to make sure. You think that morals are subjective?
Well, how about this? I've yet to see a systematic presentation that has shown me the existence of a moral fact. So I have yet to see someone systematically present a moral fact to me, and me find that analysis was conclusive of a moral fact existence. I will say it that way, because I have yet to see a moral fact actually presented to me.
So if there's such subjectivity there, then if tomorrow essaying 2-year-olds was legal, would you be okay with it?
So this is not about, again, that is not how we would actually, again, if there was such a way to analyze a moral fact, that would only lean further into the subjectivity of morality. You're not asking me if the act is moral. You're asking me if I think it's moral still. So it does not matter. And I would say no, based on my morality, which is based on my experiences and based on my actual understanding and my non-objective experience, right? I have a very subjective experience. I'm probably going to say yes or no. But that does not show evidence of a moral fact.
So if it was made legal tomorrow and everyone just started doing it, would you rebel against it? Would you push back against it? Even if it's just because they feel like doing it?
I would probably push back.
Because it's subjective, though.
I would probably push back because of my understanding based on my experience. Then that is something that I find emotionally something that makes me uncomfortable, and I say, hey, I don't like that. I don't want that to happen to someone I care about. I don't want that to happen to anybody that I see. It makes me uncomfortable, so I may act. But that does not show whether it is the majority that's practicing that, whether it's minority that's against it. Neither of our actions actually bridge the is-all gap. Just because something does not actually show us what ought to be. There is that gap is not bridged. So that is what I'm trying to demonstrate to you. So this idea of a moral fact has yet to be presented to me, and I have yet to find conclusive evidence for me to accept it.
Yeah, so I mean, the thing that's so wild, and it's such a bullet you have to bite, is that since it's so subjective and anyone can do whatever they feel like as long as the majority is agreeing, that you have to bite the bullet that it's okay that they're essaying 2-year-olds if it's subjective, because it's based off feelings.
Well, so I don't understand.
You can feel like whatever you want, but since it's based off feelings, it would logically track, right, that they're allowed to do it. There's no problem with it, right?
Well, so that, again, in their worldview, if we're going off morality, that's all I can go off, right? I think it's wrong. They think it's wrong. There is no answer, right? There is no, yes, Chris is right. Yes, Oda's right. Yes, Pink is right. Yes, Samson's right. Sarah's right. Sarah's wrong. We don't have that. And that doesn't actually speak to a moral truth. And also, it doesn't speak to what's right and wrong. Just because the majority is doing it doesn't actually show, hey, there it is. That's our moral fact. Because people have done it this way for so long, or people have learned that these are the mistakes of doing that. All you're telling me is that across time and space, a temporal element has been presented that has allowed us to assess that there are reasons that this thing may not be favorable for this population. We have yet to demonstrate that there's a moral fact or a moral particle or a moral element that is, again, empirical. That is what I'm trying to demonstrate to you, and you have not done that, and I have not done that. What we can say is that we all share different understanding of what human characteristics are good and bad, and that's as simple as that.
So, and this is going to have to shift into morality because we're so fundamentally different on that.
Well, it's not. It's not because I can control the conversation. So hey, I appreciate talking to you. If we can't talk about this from a point of view that doesn't again, do you accept that morals are different for everybody?
I accept that. I accept that there's an objectively right morality that people can transgress. Yes.
Oh well, I don't. Again, that's not what I asked.
I'm telling you my worldview, dude.
The same morals. Oh no, that's not what I asked though. I
no.
asked, do you accept? Okay, so I'll ask you a different question. Do you and I share the same morals?
Do we share the same morals? We don't share the same morals. No.
Okay, so that's a fact, right?
Yeah, no, that's a fact, but it doesn't mean that there isn't an objectively correct morality.
Oh. No. Hey, listen, no, hey. Oh, you're getting ahead of me. Oh, see, you're getting ahead of me. Stay with me. So we've established one fact in this whole conversation about morals. The only fact we've actually been able to demonstrate is that you and I differ on what is right and wrong, correct?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, that's all I care about. So because you and I can differ, that probably means that we can extrapolate this, and with a priori knowledge, we can say, wait, maybe other people also have that, where it differs. So if we can track that and say what we know as a fact is that not everybody shares the same idea of what human characteristics are good or bad or favorable, then we can at least know that, well, maybe I can show evidence of a moral fact. Maybe I cannot disprove a moral fact. But what I can say, and what I will work with, is that we both have different morals. So if this was a moral conversation, the most sound conclusion we could make is one around the fact that we know, and that one fact that we know is what?
That we have differing morals. Yeah. So I do want to ask you real quick about abortion. I have another.
Oh, okay. Wait. Go. Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Real quick. Yeah. So.
Okay.
If the mother cannot, I'm going to go back to this because I just want to clarify. If the mother cannot surrender the responsibility to someone, is it okay for her to delete the child post-birth?
Again, that is a question that is loaded. I don't understand why. That's
it's just a hypothetical question, dude.
So,
I don't know why you won't answer
the hypothetical is loaded. No,
just answer it.
So I think it's loaded. No,
how is it loaded?
You're asking me
she's in the woods. She can't surrender the child. She's in the woods. She can't surrender the child.
You're assuming. No. Because you're.
Yes.
There's a huge assumption.
It's a hypothetical to test your logic, dude.
But it's an assumption that I need to address before I actually answer, because I can't answer it because there's an assumption I haven't addressed. Your assumption is that there is an obligation to provide responsibility to this fetus.
Yes.
That's something that I can accept, right? But I don't agree, but I can accept that. Why I'm having an issue is that the deletion of the fetus, that's an assumption. Why does them not providing responsibility equal the deletion of the fetus? Now, you can say that they may not provide a service, and without that service, the fetus will be unalived or deleted. But to say that them not providing a service is directly leading or directly the act of deleting, that's the issue I'm having.
So they can starve the child to death and you'd be okay with it?
Again, they cannot provide a service, and I'm okay with that. That is what I can say.
So they can starve the child to death.
They cannot provide a service.
Why don't you just say it? Just say it.
No, because that is the verb.
The service is taking care of the kid, dude.
Because the service is something that they are providing. So here it is. If I am going to fight somebody, I punch them. Did I provide a service? Or would I provide a service? Or did I just punch them?
You attacked them. I don't know if you'd call it a service.
Great, I attacked them. Hear me out. Hey, Chris, I need to not be attacked. Can you provide a service so I don't get attacked? No, they get attacked. Is that the same?
I mean, yeah, you should protect whoever. You should protect them. Absolutely.
That's it.
Still tracks.
That's it. No. That's it.
Answer my question, dude. Answer it. Come on. Don't be a coward. Answer my question. You little silly goose, you. You little silly goober.
Answer it. Come on. Don't be anytime, dude. Goodness gracious. It's like I can only deal with for so long. Hey, Rick.
Bro. Brother.